Everything, everything gonna be all right this morning.
And we are off to the races, ladies and gentlemen, yet again for another episode for the archives. It's me speaking to you with Jeffrey Wilson right here, coming live and direct on this beautiful, you would think it's spring, but it feels summer. It's 82 degrees down here in the Lou. Very excited to actually finally get this conversation going with this young man. I've been a huge fan for a hot minute. His future is absolutely bright in the world of mixed martial arts and life in general, but I've actually even had the pleasure to call some of his fights. He is coming fresh off of his professional debut, picking up a very impressive win over Owen Shantz, I believe his name was, at Caged Aggression here Caged Aggression 37 this last March. Thank him for taking the time today. Thomas Blackorby, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, man. Every day above ground's a good day. I appreciate you taking the time, man. We've tried once or twice to put this together, but here we are.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. And like I said, you're coming off a very, very impressive win, man, that pro debut. I mean, like I said, it's just cool to watch you not just develop because you've been doing this for such a long time. And, you know, I'm a big sucker for a good origin story, man. What got you into the game? I know your father's a huge, obviously, mentor and coach, Ryan Blackorby. Shout out to your father. What got you into the game, man? When did the bug bite you?
Well, as you said, my dad got me to the gym when I was young. He probably brought me into the gym when I was 6 years old, and I wrestled for 13 years, and so it all kind of just made sense. My first actual Muay Thai fight, kickboxing fight, was when I was in 8th grade, but I knew about my sophomore year, right when I was about 16 or 17, I really wanted to do this, and then I turned 18 during COVID year, and that's when I hopped on Caged Aggression for the first time, and I fell in love with MMA.
Yeah, and it's interesting because a lot of the stuff that you kind of put out there, a lot of your social media stuff is a lot of Muay Thai striking stuff, but you are you are a mixed martial artist. You have, like you said, a wrestling background out of your high school. You have submission wins as an amateur. So yeah, you absolutely are very well rounded. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that's part of the thing. Some of these people that take the fights with me don't understand is that I've wrestled my whole life, and I had submissions under my belt. So if they want to keep sleeping on the ground game, they can. They'll just have to find out the hard way, you know?
Yeah. I like it. Yeah, you definitely have weapons in all different areas. What are some of, everybody, it's interesting. I just watched in show prep, and I'm going to put the description of the video in this episode here. It's like a 2016 video. I think it was your first international fight. And you were just kind of talking about a lot of things, but tell me about that, man, that your first international fight, your first international win, and, the influences, as most people will hear in that, Bruce Lee, that his fighting philosophy might have on you, be water, be formless, etc. What are some of the influences, and what was that like getting your first international fight win?
Oh, man, actually, that feels like so long ago, but pretty much how to get on Team USA is you had to fight at a national kickboxing tournament. And so I ended up winning that, and then about 7 months later, me and my dad and my teammates on Team USA, we traveled over to Italy, and you have a lot of nerves and anxiety when you're traveling, especially you're cutting weight, you got the long flight.
Oh yeah.
But the guy who actually filmed that documentary, William Mufasa, he came up with the Bruce Lee talking in the background. We had some good talks all week, but it just felt so weird. It felt so real, like something I've manifested and dreamed of, fighting overseas in a foreign country, against the best from their countries. And after having a first tough round fight against a fighter out of Lithuania, I mean, it was crazy. It took me a couple days to even realize that this experience actually just happened. So it was crazy. It was cool. And I loved every second of it.
Yeah, and that cat was 22-1, if I remember correctly, if you were talking about the same gentleman.
Yeah, I remember that night we were in the hotel. I just got done cutting weight. I'm keeping my nerves as down as possible, and my dad was looking up this guy, trying to find research, and he ended up finding out the guy had 22, 23 pro fights.
Well, and this gets into my next question, and I'll keep my language cool. But I know we're all adults here. Is that a mind effort to some degree? Like, oh my God, he's won 22 times, only lost once. And something you talked about, something you learned from your wrestling background, and obviously this translates to the fight game as well. The mind game, the mental game in this, the mental aspect of the fight game.
Yeah, absolutely. So my dad actually did not tell me until after I beat him that the guy had the fights. I don't really like to look forward like that. I watched him compete the day before. I got a bye, actually, first round in that tournament. But, yeah, definitely I knew the guy was pro, obviously, but my mentality going into any fight is that I can win, and it always has been like that.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you got to, think like a winner. And, again, something, I always say, in any venture, whether it's business or athletics, oftentimes that success is really contingent. I mean, there's a lot you can do by yourself, but really, really next level success is contingent on surrounding yourself with the right people and the right team. And even going back to your father, not only just a good coach, but your father has your back. What has that meant for you guys to have to assemble the right team, and what that has meant lending itself to your success?
I mean, I give all my success to my father. He's been there since day one. He's still coaching me to this day. And, I give all credit to him, but what him and the other coaches in Peoria have been able to put together for our team is something special. And I think a lot of people are just now starting to see that Peoria Athletic Club, we've been dominating this year. I think our record as a team this year is already 19-4, 19-5, and we're just going to keep coming strong.
Without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, in part of your success, in evidence of your success, and I don't want to speak out of school, but are you still, and I believe you signed with Iridium Sports Agency.
Yep. I signed with Iridium Sports Agency on my 20th birthday. That's something I'll never.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, and again, this is all emblematic of your success and reaping the rewards of the hard work you've put in, brother. I mean, what is the thoughts, man? You're still a very, very young man. Obviously, the UFC maybe is the kind of the Mount Olympus for everybody. But what are you seeing yourself? It's not like it's a job interview. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, there, Thomas? But yeah, where do you see yourself? Where's the career taking you?
I have big goals. I have big dreams, and I've said for many years now that I will not only be in the UFC, but I will be a UFC champion. Everything in my life I've said I'm going to do, I end up doing it. I'm very passionate, and at the end of the day, there's nothing I want more than to be a UFC champion.
That's awesome. That's really cool, man. That's really cool. I mean, and you're well on your way. I mean, you're obviously you're disciplined. You're a young man. Like, again, you surrounded yourself with dope people. You're obviously your father, and I know your religion plays a huge part. Your faith is a huge part of your success as well. So going into, recently, March, Caged Aggression 37, man. Big shout out to Mike Goodwin and the whole crew for putting on another incredible show like they always do. That was your pro debut, and it was up against, tough opponent, older gentleman.
Yep.
He was pretty confident in the pre-fight words, and I think sent you a text, and I probably shouldn't have done that, but like, this guy's calling out, he's going to knock you out in the second round. Again, that's part of the mental game. What was that like, fighting that gentleman? Does his word shake you at all? Or just another day at the office? But what was that like, picking up that first professional win?
I like to always say I'm unshakable. You cannot break me before the fight. You won't break me in the fight. But yeah, my last opponent, he had some things to say at the little press conference thing, the little interview. And he also was playing some mind games down at the lobby in the hotel. I guess he was writing devil horns. He crossed me out on the poster, wrote that I'm a bitch. But, at the end of the day, I stay calm. I've been here, plenty of times. And at the end of the day, that's not going to play a factor when he stepped in there with me. And that showed.
Yeah, it's a very, very impressive win. And, of course, Mike Goodwin is already kind of announced here coming up. He's got another 2-night event, and I'm sure you'll be on that. But it's cool, man. It's cool to watch you develop, and you're always welcome back here, brother. I'm always going to follow I'm going to follow your career, and I'm going to be like, yo, I knew him win, man, because I think your future is incredibly bright. You have an incredible foundation that has just brought you some incredible success. But, at the end of the day, you can have as many people around you as you want. You have to step in there and do the work, and you do it in a very impressive fashion, man.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate that.
Without a doubt, man. I thank you for your time. Any social networking? Where can we keep following you, man? Following your success and what you're up to?
Yeah, you can just follow me on Instagram or Facebook at Thomas_Blackorby. That's about it.
Cool. And again, I'm going to post a description of a link in the description of that video of Thomas's first international win. And it was a really cool video, man. Really, really motivating. Get you fired up pre-workout. But I appreciate your time again, Thomas. Shout out to your father again, Ryan, and the whole fam. Continued success, brother.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Jeffrey. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thomas Blackorby, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. You're going to be hearing this young man's name. Peace. Love y'all.